Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Network. On Mondays, you got Raw with Mimi and Lup. Tuesdays is CTE with Chris, Los, and Trav. Wednesdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. And on Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Fellas, it's showtime. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
What's happening?
So,
same old, man. You know.
Yeah, I hear that. Man, it's just been a chill weekend. We got a cold going around my house. We all thought, of course, the worst, so we all got tested. Everything's good. So just recovering right now. Getting ready for Halloween next week.
That's right. I get tested every week. So, I've been keeping my fingers crossed every time I go get my test done. Every Wednesday afternoon, especially having a school, man. Kids are germy. Kids have germs, and they pass germs, and especially with COVID. And then also, we got a cold out here. I don't know if did flu season start yet.
I mean, technically, probably.
Okay, and then there's allergies, so it's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And every little thing that's wrong with you, you always think it's COVID. You
can't help it. That's the world we're living in right now.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Bugs, you good, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I just long weekend. That's all.
How did you do at the tournament?
I did good, man. I won the grand for fighting, so that was a good little day.
Okay. What tournament was that?
It's called North American Federation of Martial Arts. It was on one of the other sites that we always see. It was NAFMA Nationals. So they actually
Where was it? I mean,
it was in Atlantic City at the Sheraton.
Okay, yeah. Okay, got you.
Yeah. Cool. So it was good.
All right. And then next week we got Halloween. Now, Joe, you just brought this up a few seconds ago, and it kind of ties into the movie that we're watching this week, Blade. Are all of your kids going trick-or-treating or dressing up or something, or going to a Halloween party or something?
Oh, yeah. Last year was the first year we didn't do trick-or-treating.
Okay. And that was because of COVID, obviously. But
100%. Like, everything was too up in the air. We did some COVID-safe events last year that they got more candy for that than they did ever for anything else. And then on Halloween, I always go to my parents' house. We have dinner, and then I know that neighborhood real well. And this last year we did piñatas, so we all had piñatas and we broke them open, and that was our Halloween last year.
Okay, all right. Last year when we took Champ out trick or treating, and it was. I mean, people got creative last year. Some people some people had candy on a stick on the front lawn, so you just came by and just took whatever you wanted, which was kind of cool because honestly, a lot of people weren't trick-or-treating last year. So the people had so much candy, they would just say, like, take as many as you want, Some people had a card table on their lawn with just a bunch of candy on there, and the kids can come by and just take what they want. Some people had like a little chute from their upstairs, and they'll put the candy and it'll slide down a slide and then shoot out the other end for the kid. It never reached the kid. Like, it always ended up in the grass.
I heard somebody like talking about someone like launching it with like a catapult.
Yeah, that was another thing. Somebody had a slingshot, and they were slingshotting the candy, which was not going very far.
I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. I want to be shooting kids with candy.
Yeah, those slingshots, they were not going really, really far at all, man. But it was a cool time, man. Last year, too, we were outside for about an hour walking around. And honestly, I was surprised. Like, Champ looked at us and was like, hey, I'm tired. I want to go home. I looked at his mom, and she looked at me. I said, okay, cool. We go home. That's it then. If you want to be done, that's it. I ain't about to make you stay out here. You know, and it's always the weather is never the best here in Detroit. So
I just looked up the weather. It's pretty decent compared to most other days that we've had. It's 57, partly cloudy, with a very low chance to rain. So I mean, for us, that's a dream.
Right, because it always rains on Halloween for us here, you know. So it's
And it's
always
cold.
wet.
It's been
It's
like
cold.
40s the last few years.
Yep. All right, so let's get into this movie. Blade. That's what we're talking about. And this was an interesting movie for me. This is only the second time ever that I've seen this movie.
Really?
Period. Oh. And I'm a comic book person, but when this came out back in '98, I was like, why are they coming out with a Blade movie? Like, out of all the characters, why are they putting out a Blade movie? Because this was Marvel's first movie, first live action.
First big movie. I was reading the article, and they were talking like this really set up and saved like that whole company.
Yeah,
and I was laughing because I was like, out of all it was a well done movie. I don't think the production, but it made a good amount of money.
Yeah, it did. I mean, because you got to think like this is like back in '98, like there were the only other superhero movies that were around at that time were Superman and Batman. That was it. Yep. There were no other movies. So now, and those are all DC properties. So with Marvel coming out and Blade, and you had somebody like Wesley Snipes who was real hot at the time, but one of my main things that I always say when we do these movies, I'm always saying like, this is not a martial arts movie. That's not a martial arts movie. This movie technically is not a martial arts movie, but he did the fight scenes were martial arts fight scenes.
100%. That's what I was laughing at. Even the sword fighting was martial arts based.
Yes. It was not like the transporter. Like the transporter was combat. That was not. Yeah, even though it was a martial art, it was combat fighting, but it wasn't like you did not see the martial art. This was a clear martial arts movie. So as far as the fighting scenes go, you got anything, Books? I see you agreeing with me finally.
Yeah, no, I just I definitely say in terms of all the fight scenes in this movie, it was just we're looking at it from like a martial arts standpoint, it was done really well.
Do we know what Wesley Snipes' background for martial arts is?
He's from over here. He's from like the Philly, Maryland. Like he has the New York influence in him.
What's the style though?
I'm pretty sure. I think it was Goju, if I'm correct. Could be wrong.
That's what I was wondering.
Could be wrong. Actually, one of you guys know Jessie Ray, right?
Yeah.
One of Jessie Ray's students was in the movie. We actually saw her. Remember when he was in the basement and the girl threw those pump kicks?
You talking about Ebony?
Yeah, I think that was that. No, that wasn't Ebony in that. Was it Ebony?
Ebony Adams. Yeah, that's Ebony.
Oh yeah, that was one of Jessie Ray's students.
Yeah. Ebony. I met Ebony. She came here for a little while. She was. I don't know what this affiliation was with Al Keebalon that she had in the mid 90s. I can't remember what that thing was that they were doing with her because they used to always say Al Keebalon's own, and I was like, well, she's not from here, so I don't know what the affiliation was with her at that time. But yeah, Ebony and I are friends on Facebook, and she still posts things pertaining to this movie, So.
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie starts. It's 1967, and we see a woman go into the hospital, and she's basically been bitten. This is Blade's mother. So basically, she's bitten, and then he is born, and we are to assume that she died during giving birth to him. And they really didn't explain it, but you kind of put it, two and two together. Because later on, when he is on the street, or when he's talking about Whisper, Whisper says that
Whistler.
My bad. Thank you. he said that he was living on the streets, and he was pretty much a vampire at that point in time. He had gave in to the thirst, and then Whistler decided to take him in and raise him as a son. I'm not sure I would have did that.
Well, especially because Whistler has the chip on his shoulder because vampires killed his family. So to save a quote unquote vampire, but I guess he kind of figured that he was a little different than most vampires.
I
Go
just
ahead,
I,
Books.
I just want to. It has this has nothing in terms related to do with the movie, but I just find it funny because I just got a notification on my phone and I clicked it and it says El Java Abdul Qadir is a vampire. Just saying. I don't know why that was like the first thing that popped up on my phone. Like it's like literally just a notification. I went to go click it to turn it off, and it said that he's a vampire. I don't know why I see someone write that, but I just thought that was funny. I think
That's hilarious.
what you call it? Yeah, I just think Whistler. I would have did it honestly. I probably would have. Um, he saw obviously he saw something, and let's just call it like it is. He's just saving another black kid on the street. So respect to him. Wakanda forever.
I ain't gonna touch that. I ain't gonna touch that
one. Up to Angel.
So it also starts off. We see this crazy ass rave party going on, and it seems wild. I didn't even know what was going on at first. I'm assuming that everybody here were vampires at this rave,
or familiars.
Okay.
I like it.
Now, explain what the familiars are.
The familiars are people wanting to be vampires, so they follow. They have a leader that is going to turn them, but they do their bidding until they get turned.
It's kind of
that's how they got them there. They do the stuff in the daytime the vampires can't do because they can't go out in the daytime.
It's kind of like pledging a fraternity. It's like what they're trying to do. Technically,
I wouldn't trust that. I wouldn't trust that they're not going to eat me. I wouldn't.
True. You're not. Well, if you're bringing them, as long as you continue to bring them food and do their bidding, because some of the familiars, they got familiars that are in the police force. I mean, they pick and choose, people of certain that can help them. If you work for a blood bank and you're into vampires, I'm sure it'll be real easy to become a familiar because you can bring an endless supply of food for them.
Right. Now at this rave, there is there's a guy who's walking around. I thought he was going to have a bigger role in this movie. The guy that the camera was on at the beginning, because we see him, we're following him as he's walking through this rave, and then we notice he's looking at his hands, and the blood drops down onto his hand. He's looking around, and he looks up, and then all of a sudden, all of this blood started coming out of the sprinkler system.
I've been out. I'm out.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this guy, did they ever explain who he was? Was he? He wasn't a vampire.
It was just to set the opening. It was just to set up the opening scene to see what Blade does. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think that scene was meant to have any focus. It was just to set up Blade and what happens after that.
Yeah, because he comes in and he just pretty much clears house and just wipes everybody out. And they know him. When the vampires see him, they know who he is. They call him the Daywalker. Now this guy, like this guy that's there, were they planning to eat him? Did somebody bring him? Like I was lost at this part. Like, how did he get there? Why did he walk in? Was somebody lure him there, or what was up with that?
That girl that he was with in the car was a familiar. They showed her she had a tattoo on her wrist or something.
Okay, I missed.
She was a familiar. So my guess is the familiars bring people to that club as food, and then they sit back and watch.
But it was like hundreds of people there. Like he would have been like what a appetizer, like a snack, a sample or something.
I think they probably have more that they brought. They just focused on him.
Okay, all right. So we start seeing people turn to vampires, and then we see Blade. He shows up, and then he starts fighting. Now, what's my man's name? That's in there also. Frost's second in command.
Oh no! Damn it! Watched this movie 1,000 times.
Is this Quinn? Is his name Quinn?
Yes, Quinn.
Okay. Because that guy, I like him as an actor. I liked him a lot in the show Gotham. He was real good in that. And it was interesting to see him play this type of character because it's so different than his character in Gotham.
that's where he was. I watched Gotham, and I was saying, like, how do I know this dude?
Like, yeah. He was Bullock. He was Bullock in Gotham.
You just put
he might have played two different characters between this and Gotham, but they're kind of the same. He's a loudmouth. He's he's always got the don't give a F attitude. So he's kind of the same guy. But yeah, I like him a lot. He's a good actor.
So did you guys like the fight scene that was going on in this? So I liked it. It was pretty cool.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I thought he was going to get overwhelmed. I was kind of surprised he didn't have any assistance. So he was just taking out all these vampires by himself.
He's Blade. You don't need no assistance.
That's what he does.
Did you guys ever watch the TV show Blade?
Yep.
Huh?
Okay, the TV show Blade. Did you ever watch it?
Like
it came out. Yeah, it was a live action television show. It came out not long after the third movie. And it was with Sticky. It wasn't with Wesley. It was with Sticky Fingers from Onyx. He played Blade in the show. And what I wanted to know was, Joe, was this a continuation? Was that show a continuation from the movie, or was this just something totally different? Was it like a reboot or something?
Honestly, I can't remember. I think it was more of a reboot.
Okay.
It wasn't done very well.
Well, I never watched it. So
yeah, okay. I didn't care for it. Like, I don't know. It was out there. I was interested in it, but it wasn't that great. I think it only made like 2 seasons.
Were the same characters in it? Was Frost in it? Was Quinn in it? Or people representing them or anything like that?
No, you know what? It was so long ago. I don't have to remember. I'd have to like look it up to refresh my mind. But no, it was a whole different story.
Okay. Now, when Blade and Quinn are fighting, did Blade purposely not kill Quinn? Because he
said he'd been trying to figure out how to kill him.
Oh, okay.
That's why he said, I'm going to try fire this time. Because he cut his head off before and he said that didn't work. So now what I don't understand is, or maybe I missed this part, why is he harder to kill than the ones that he just eradicated?
Yeah.
Is that the difference between the purebloods?
I have no idea, man. Like I said, this is my second time watching this movie. The first time was last year.
I've always wondered that. Like, there's got to be a reason because he's running through some of these other people, no problem.
Yeah,
but he's having trouble with that dude.
Yeah. So when he sets them on fire, like he says, like doesn't he say hello to Frost? Yeah. So I thought that he thought Frost was dead. That was when I heard him say that. I thought Frost was dead.
No, he's assuming he's probably going to come back. If he comes back, say hello to Frost. He's never seen Frost. He don't know. He knows of Frost, but he's never seen him before.
Ah, okay. All right. You got anything else, Books?
I just liked when he set him on fire.
Now, do you think the guy, because Blade ends up saving that one guy that we saw. When the police come in, they see Quinn on fire and they put him out. And everybody is dead. Do you think the police would have arrested that one guy that was just sitting there covered in blood?
Mm-mm.
I would have thought so because he's the only survivor. They don't like. I would have just assumed like you did all of this.
Yeah,
you set this guy on fire.
Did what? Killed one guy on fire?
Killed the one guy on fire. He's covered in blood, and then there's a whole bunch of other dead bodies. Right? Aren't there other dead bodies, or did they just
the vampires basically turned to ash when they died?
Okay. So yeah, so then it's just the one guy. I would have assumed that the police would have arrested him.
They said this is one hell of a party. Damn.
Okay. Anything else? You guys got anything else?
No, this was crazy. I mean,
okay,
especially being that guy. That guy's maybe they should put him in jail because he's going to be having nightmares for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Who wouldn't, right? All right, so now we get introduced to the doctor, Karen Jensen. She is there. She's at it wasn't the hospital. It was
like a lab for research.
Right, but she has an ex-boyfriend who comes in, who wants her to go over the body with him.
Was it an ex-boyfriend? I thought that she was just saying that he always wanted her. And she just didn't.
They were talking about how it didn't work out, and he was like, "Yeah, do you ever give us the second thought?" Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Yeah. and obviously she didn't. She goes with him to look at the body of Quinn, and Quinn is messed up, like he is charred. He looks like the piece of rib that you're not going to eat. that's what he looked like, And they're going over his body, and he ends up coming back to life. Why they stayed in there, I'll never know. Like, I would have left. I would have ran. That would have been the end of it for me.
Homeboy couldn't run. He had to grab a homeboy and real quick.
Go ahead, Books.
Hey, listen, Gene. Like, I don't know why, but like, I just don't see you running. I think the same thing that would happen. Listen. The same thing that would have happened if you were on a plane and it stopped working. It's the same thing that would have happened there. You would have had a heart attack and died. Like,
you're right. You're probably so. You're right. You're right. I mean, if I'm a medical examiner and I'm looking at a body, and that motherfucker wakes up, yes, I'm dying, right?
Wait. You're not gonna get the bat? You're not gonna get the bat?
I ain't got time to get a bat. I'm dead. He wakes up, I'm done. That's it. He wakes up, I'm done. That's it.
Oh God, I'm having dead.
I would have did the Red Fox for sure. I'm done. I'm out of here.
End the movie.
Yeah. So then Blade comes in. So Blade assumed that Quinn was going to wake up, and he does, and then he comes in and he starts fighting. Quinn also bites the doctor, Karen Jensen, and Blade looks at her, and I thought he was going to kill her because at that point in time, like, they didn't see anyone who got bit get it reversed. So if I was him, I would have just assumed, like, well, she's going to be a vampire. Let me just end this right now before it gets out of hand. But he didn't. He ends up taking her. Do you think he took her because the police came? Or do you think he just felt sorry for her?
I think the idea, and I don't remember exactly what made me think this, but I think it reminded him of his mom somehow.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think he saw his mom in her.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, like, in that scene they showed a flashback of what his mom looked like when she got bit and like when she was dying. So, again, like, not, this is like just being factual. Like, he saw like the woman was black, and he looked just like her mom. So I thought that was the reason why he did it.
Okay. And then he is running from the police. Now, the other the medical examiner is dead. Quinn ate him, like, Now, when these vampires, when they eat someone, are they getting the power from that blood? Because Quinn is starting to get back to normal. He's starting to.
I don't think it's power. I think when you do feeding is what brings you back to life when you die like that for whatever reason.
Okay. All right, because I was just wondering, like, how come he's starting to get back to normal? Like, why is he starting to, like, the chard is starting to leave, and he's starting to get his skin back, and he's starting to stand up now. He's running. As he's running away, we're starting to see some of his features because he ends up jumping in an ambulance and scaring the crap out of some woman. So I didn't know. I don't know. I don't study vampire. So I don't know the rules. I'm not like Angel. I didn't watch the Twilight movies, so I don't know. I don't know the rules on the vampires.
Yeah, meaning, well, and that's how I've always understood it. Like, to have the power and everything, feeding is what fuels you. So if you feed, you get stronger.
Okay, all right. So anyway, now I did not like the fact that Blade was running with Karen, and the police are shooting at him. Somehow they're hitting Blade, but they're not hitting her. And then he throws her from a building. Like,
and the worst that happened was her shoulder dislocated.
Well, he found a place that was kind of soft for her to land.
Some garbage, right? Some garbage. I mean,
on top of a
better than the hard ass ground.
He launched her. He launched her out of a window, and then he jumped. I can understand him jumping and making it, but goodness, like she landed and he just ran and picked her up and took her back to where him and Whistler hang out at. Anything? You guys got anything else?
Whistler looked at him like he was crazy.
I actually thought I don't know, like this could be like, I don't know about you guys. Have you guys watched all the Blade movies or no?
Yeah, I only saw the first two. I never saw the third one.
So I kind of like the third one. Oh, okay, never mind. I kind of think it was funny how like you could see like in little parts Blade's personality will come out. So like when the cops were shooting at him, he was like cursing them out. They were shooting him and not
he goes, "Motherfucker, are you crazy?"
He did say that.
That's my favorite part.
So like I kind of like that, kind of like what he says at the end of the movie when he ends up going up against Frost. Like you see it every movie, his personality comes out a little bit more. So I think it's kind of cool.
So they end up taking her back to their hangout, and they end up giving her what they think is going to be medicine to cure her from the bite. They thought that they got it. They got her the medicine in time, but we find out later on that they didn't give it to her in time. So they're trying to prevent her from turning into a vampire. You guys got anything else about this scene? I really don't have too much more to talk about this scene.
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Now after that, this is the part that I was confused with. These vampires, these guys are sitting around like the mafia, and they're getting upset because they're upset with Frost because they're upset at the type of parties that he's having is drawing too much attention, and they're trying to get him to calm down and bring it back. But he's not having none of it. Now, if they're anything like the mafia, they all should have their own crews. Yeah. Right? That's what I would think. And I didn't understand later on that, like, how did Frost take all of these guys without their crews getting involved? I didn't get that. That didn't make any sense to me.
None whatsoever.
Now there was were there two leaders of this mafia / vampire crew? It seemed like there was two of them.
I thought there was just one big one, and then everybody else was like a delegate.
Because Frost ends up killing one guy, and yeah. I thought that he was kind of like the other one of the big bosses.
I thought he was the biggest one.
Okay, because there too. Yeah. Because there was another guy also. There was another guy at the table also. I mean, I thought that he was in charge. I don't know. I guess I have to look at that again.
I honestly just thought the one guy that was talking the most was the guy who ran like the coven, if you want to put it in that term, and then everybody else was like people that like maybe they own group of people and they're like just a representative for like their area, but like it runs. Let's say like in a city, like you have the one person that runs all of like Detroit, and then like different little parts of Detroit will have like different gangs, but one person runs the whole thing. That's what I saw it as.
Okay. Now, Blade goes to see some guy. Who is this guy that he goes to see? And
I just want to put this out there. This guy that he goes to see is not the guy. He doesn't even pop up ever again in the movie. Like in this movie, in the second one, or in the third one. It's just I feel like it's just the guy that helps him keep the thirst in check. That's okay. That's all it is. It's like Blade from this movie all the way till he gets done. He's always trying to find a way to suppress the thirst so he can he doesn't become a full vampire again. So this guy is just the guy that's trying to help him. In the second movie, it's someone else. In the third movie, it's another person.
Is it like the same? Is it supposed to be the same character, just a different actor, or it's just a different?
It's a different gender. So it's one time it's a man, and it's like another man. So it like fluctuates. So like him being there, the whole point of it is just he's just trying to suppress the thirst. But after that, like the guy has no significance.
It didn't seem like it took them a long time to convince Karen about what was going on.
I mean, she
saw it with her own eyes.
She just saw a vampire. What else does she need to know?
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, like, would you if you found out that the city is run by vampires and they're all over the place? Like,
they also told her no matter where you go, there's always going to be vampires. So if I go somewhere, I'm still going to see a vampire. I'd much rather be safer with Blade than by myself. I obviously couldn't handle a dead vampire that was burnt to a crisp. I can't handle one that looks normal.
Well, even when right now, she goes back to her apartment, she sees a couple of people following her. She freaks out. And then when she's, she's in her apartment, a police officer basically attacks her and she sprays him with the garlic. And he's looking at her like she's crazy because she's like, he said it would work on you. He's a familiar. It's not going to work on him. It's just garlic.
Right. But of course, she wouldn't know. She wouldn't know.
But then, of course, Blade pops up because they were using her as bait.
Yes. Now, let me ask you this, because I don't know if I missed this or not. Now, when she was in the elevator, she kept looking at two people, and they were looking at her also. And it kind of made you lead to believe that these people were vampires also.
But they weren't. They were familiars. They had the tattoos on their back. They just weren't after her.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
Yeah,
okay.
They wanted... See, it was a trick for us because they were trying to get us to think that they were going to attack her. And then she goes to her apartment. She's just fine. Until that police officer, which, by the way, I closed the door. Why are you in my house? You're supposed to knock. See, that to me, she should have already been on guard. Mm-hmm. That guy just walked into her house, said the door was open. She closed that door.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Well,
it's not good police work.
Was he a real police officer or was he just pretending to be a police officer?
No, he's a real police officer. Remember, Blade and Whistler said that they had the police in their pocket.
Okay.
So a lot of the police are familiars or are on the take.
I thought it was funny how Blade robbed him after he kicked his ass.
No.
He made a good point. He says, listen, this vampire hunting stuff, you don't get paid for it, so you got to fund it somehow.
Now, let's talk about Whistler. Whistler had a talk with her before she left, and he pretty much told her, like, we gave you the serum to pretty much save your life, but, if this doesn't work, you're pretty much dead.
Well, no, he didn't say you're pretty much dead. He said, if this doesn't work, take this gun and shoot yourself, or else I'm going to send Blade to come and kill you anyways. And then Blade is sharpening his sword as he said that.
That has to be horrible. That has to be a horrible feeling. Like you gotta shoot yourself. Well,
listen, within the
terms, or just become a vampire.
Within the terms of the movie, we see what the alternative is. I don't think Blade's gonna have any sympathy at that point. I just thought that was crazy how he really said to her, either you shoot yourself or the alternative happens. And Blade is just sharpening his knife looking at her. Come on now.
What would you have done?
Me, personally? I'm going to shoot myself. I don't want Blade
really?
to...
I'm taking my chances as a vampire.
I think I'm with Joe. I'm going to be a vampire also. What's the worst that can happen? I got to live for another 500 years.
Or, Blade comes and kills me in 5 minutes. Either way. I'm not shooting myself.
No. I'm not staying in New York. I'm not staying in New York. I'm leaving. I'm not staying there. I'm gonna go to Idaho or some shit. Someplace where they're not looking for vampires.
Yo, hold on, I'm sorry, but I'm not.
I'm be a nighttime potato farmer.
Yo, I'm not saying no. I'm not even trying to say I study vampires like that. But in all seriousness, in all vampire movies, vampires will go to Idaho or to Ohio or North Dakota. And they become farmers because at night they just kill their cattle and eat their blood. So that's all that kind of makes sense. But I'm just saying, man, you do know Blade goes to Russia and Japan and all that, right?
Yeah, but I would be a low key vampire. I'm not. Yeah. I'm minding my business, Blade. Get the fuck out of here. I have not ate nobody. I'm eating my cow.
Hey, let me tell you, G wishes he would have been a vampire if he saw Master Splinter, because they'll go.
Then I would have fucked him up. I would have fucked up Splinter then. I would have fucked him up. Get your old ass over here. I'm gonna fly up to the sky and I'm gonna drop his ass and let the turtles catch him or some shit. Yeah, that's what I would have did.
We're always gonna come back to that. We're always gonna come back to that.
I mean, Joe, like
the best moment ever.
Joe, the man said, "I'm gonna eat him with some hot sauce."
So anyway, back to the movie. What's next?
After that, he ends up following the police officer to the blood bank.
That's right.
And he follows him to the blood bank. He ends up chasing him inside, like finds him inside, ends up kicking his ass again. And then after that, he ends up going in to see what Frost's operation is, like what he's trying to do.
Now, let's talk about what Frost is trying to do. Frost is trying to raise a vampire god from the dead. He is looking at old text, and he is trying to. Now, where did he get these texts from that he was researching?
Who the hell knows?
We don't know, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, they never really gave us the background on that.
Okay. Because Blade, I know Blade ended up getting a piece of the script, and he said that he got it from some type of archive or something like that.
Yeah.
Now,
plus he took the drive and gave it to Whistler to see the rest of it on the computer.
Talk about that, because I missed that part.
Yeah, so on the drive, it kind of laid out what the plan was. Like it was scanning the stuff, and it had all the information that Frost had collected. And basically, it showed an outline of a diagram of how to resurrect the blood god. And you basically need X amount of pure bloods, and then Blade was the key. For some reason, a Daywalker was the key along with the pure bloods.
Okay, go ahead, Books.
So I don't know. I feel like you would have thought about this, Gene, because I've always thought about this since I was a little kid. I wonder how many Daywalkers there's been in like the history and like the cinematic and like Blade, like before him, like how many Daywalkers were there through history? Because everybody always needed a Daywalker, and it seemed like he was just the Daywalker of that era.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I never read the Blade comics. I remember him. But he was always like around. He would show up in the Spider-Man comic books. I never, when I was younger, I never really remember him having his own book. He would just show up to fight Morbius, I think, or try and hunt Morbius, and help Spider-Man fight Morbius. But I don't really remember much else about him in the comics when I was younger. And then I think they did some of that on the Spider-Man the animated cartoon back in the day.
Yeah.
I think he was on that also. Yeah. But other than that, I don't really know too much more about Blade. So now, how come the other vampires, the council, how they really weren't on Frost's side? It didn't seem like.
Not one bit. They thought the prophecy was a myth. They thought it was, it wasn't serious.
Mm.
Well, I mean, why would you be on the side if they got to sacrifice your ass?
Well,
he didn't tell. Did he tell them that he was going to sacrifice them?
No, but everybody
not until he got them there.
But everybody knows you need 12 purebloods. Like they knew about the legend. There's 12 purebloods in the room.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, but see, one of them, if they could have rose up against Frost, they could have put Frost ass in there, and they could have took over.
Now, how come they're not? You would think they would be stronger than them.
Hold on.
Oh no, you're right. Frost wasn't a pureblood. My bad.
Frost is not a
pureblood. You're right.
Yeah.
But you would have think a pure vampire would have been stronger than him.
That's the idea normally.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Blade goes to. Now, Whistler gives Blade this ultraviolet light weapon, and Blade goes to see this guy, this fat blob guy.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was nasty.
I don't even know who he was.
And
someone who was real high, like giving information for whatever reason.
So was he a vampire also? He had to, man. I mean, the ultraviolet thing was working on him.
What was he gonna do? He couldn't move.
He looked like Jabba the Hutt.
He did. And then when he was getting shot because Karen was with him.
He wasn't getting shot. He was getting the light put on.
Yeah, he's getting shot with the light. And she was lighting his ass up with it.
It was nasty.
Yeah,
that was nasty.
It was disgusting. And Blake kind of looks at her, and she was like, "He moved," you know. Yeah, that was pretty sick. But we don't know exactly who this guy was, but he just had some information. And he tells Blade, what did he tell him about what was behind a door? Because Blade blows open this door.
Yeah.
I was doing other things while this was on. So tell me about this part. What was going on? What was he looking for right here?
He was looking for like the rest of the, I don't want to say scroll, but like the rest of like the text for La Magra or Lumagra or whatever. And he was telling Blade like he knew where it was, but he couldn't tell him because he knew that if he told him, Frost would kill him because that was Frost's connect, you could say. And then plus in there was just more old text. Like it was everything on pretty much like the vampire's history was in there. So that's why it was like such a sacred place.
And Quinn was there. Quinn was down there.
I think see, they never said how Quinn knew that. That's what gets me mad.
What? Well, how he knew?
Like he just popped up. Like how did he know that Blade was gonna be there?
I don't know. Maybe he was there for a particular reason. I don't know.
We've never known that.
Okay.
Now a lot of holes.
Yeah.
Now this is the scene also that Ebony was in.
Yeah, she comes out. I think she's the first person that comes out. I'm gonna tell you right now, though. Like, I mean, Ebony Adams. I'm not saying this disrespectfully. I'm just talking about what happened in the movie. Blade bitch slapped the fuck, like just like just freaking hit like a pimp slap. I was like, he like threw some powder on the back of his hand because it was. I felt like it was messed up. I felt like it was messed up. I'm just saying. I felt like
powder on the back of his hand.
I felt like it was messed up because it's like I don't know. I feel like he knew that she was 12. Like there's no need for him to do all that.
Well, she was beating him up also though. She was hitting him with a couple of kicks and pushed him back.
Listen, you know? I'm not saying she wasn't. I'm just saying like. He didn't have to like. He could at least punched her in the face, like show her some respect. Like,
or maybe hit her with a spinning hook kick or something, right?
No, that would have killed her.
It's a vampire. It's a vampire. She just wasn't just some friendly little girl, you know, selling Girl Scout cookies. She was a vampire.
Oh my God, that would be even funnier. You want to buy some cookies? Hell no. Bam.
But you know, she was acting scared when she saw him. She was acting scared, like you know, she kind of lured him to, you know, making him think that she was just a regular little girl when she wasn't. Also, does she show back up in any other movies? Any of the Blade movies? Nope, that's it.
Not. I mean, unless like I couldn't tell what she looked like when she grew up, but not that I know of. Because there was some time between all the movies. Like I think this one came out in 98, right? 99?
Mm-hmm.
And then and then the next one came out in 2002. So there's like some time in between. And then the next one came out I think in 07 or 06. So it was like,
oh wow, I didn't know it was that much. I didn't know there was that
space in between each of them. Yeah, so it's not like if she came back, we wouldn't even know what she looked like at that time.
Okay. Well, she doesn't look that much different to me.
Oh, she doesn't
in the movie. Yeah. Okay. You guys got anything else?
No, just in that scene. After that, you know, he ends up.
They end up fighting in like in a subway or something.
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to think. Was that when Quinn took his hand and he had the sword and it exploded his hand?
You know what? Let's talk about that sword. Like, I mean, when that happened a couple of times, I was like, why would you want your sword to do that? Open up.
Nobody else can handle it.
For that reason.
Huh?
For that reason.
I mean, it's a sword. I mean, is there something special about the sword? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking. Like, what's so special about Blade's sword?
It's his.
Why are you looking like
y'all frozen? Y'all frozen? Like, what's going on?
It's his weapon. It's like what he's known for is that he can shoot you, but he's known for like slicing and dicing you. So like, why would you not? It's a thing like this. It's like people that want Babe Ruth's jockstrap. Like they just want his jockstrap. It's Babe Ruth. For whatever reason they want it.
You literally know people that want Babe Ruth's jockstrap.
I heard someone
Is that
bought
a
it.
thing?
I heard someone bought it and then sniffed it.
Come on, man. Come on.
All right, next.
Shit, I can't. Are you serious?
Bro, I'm not even joking.
They were hoping to get some of that essence to rub off, and they were gonna run some bases, I guess.
Bro, I'm not
Start
joking.
hitting some balls.
Listen, I see what you did there. Hit some balls. No, I'm being serious. Like I feel like he has that because he knows that everybody wants to touch his sword. If you catch Blade, his sword is like what he kills everyone. It's like a signature. It's like Scorpion and like his weapon. Like you take away Scorpion's chain whip, like it's over with. So that's why he needs to have that. And I just thought it was crazy how everybody kept falling for the same trick.
Yeah, I mean, it came in handy at the end of the movie, for what it did. Now Karen is trying to come up with an antidote for herself, and I guess she eventually does succeed in doing that. Is she in any of the other movies?
No, I don't think so.
Wow. Okay. So Whistler is pretty much. This is the part where Whistler is telling her his backstory and how he found Blade, and she's creating these antidotes. But not only is she creating antidotes, she's also creating a weapon for Blade also. And it kind of looks like a serum, but when you stick it in a vampire, they explode. Now, he was carrying those around with him like it was his antidote also. Wasn't his antidote in the same
No. They just assumed.
Okay.
Frost and everybody was just assuming that was his serum.
Okay.
Yeah, but they had no idea what it was because he never had it before.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Joe. You got anything else?
No, I thought that was funny. I mean, it was because, they kept saying, oh, this is your famous serum, and everything. And meanwhile, this basically explodes vampires. So he kept saying, yeah, give it a try. You'll like it.
And
I would have loved it if one of those guys was like, yeah, let me try it. Maybe I'll get strong like Blade. Skaboom.
Now Frost ends up getting the head vampire. Like I don't know his name. Let's see here. Dragonetti. Gitano Dragonetti.
Sure.
It says the vampire's elder. So we're gonna go with that.
That does sound like a mafia name.
And he takes him like how
Dragonetti.
He ends up taking him, and he's outside, and he's gonna make him be outside when the sun rises. Now Frost and his crew, they have on sunscreen. So that is how they're able to walk around in the daytime and not get affected by the sun. I didn't know that was a thing. They
only do that before so once the sun comes up, they got full trench coats and motorcycle helmets on.
Yeah, they did do that, but later on in the movie, we see Frost, and he's out, and it does not look like it's morning time at this point. It looks like it's like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's out. And he has on all of this stuff when he, confronts Blade. But anyway, Dragonetti ends up dying, and Frost and his crew are watching. They end up putting down their face shield on their motorcycle helmets, and they're covered up. But I thought that he would have faced some type of backlash for that, especially because he took his teeth, Dragonetti's teeth, out of his mouth, and he ends up going back to the Council of Vampires, and he just kind of throws it on the table. And I would have thought they would have all just turned on him, for killing one of us.
Yeah, but they were scared.
But it's more of them than him. I didn't get that.
I think that was the whole point. He took out that's what do you call it? Prison yard rules. Take out the baddest one. Take out the biggest and baddest. Nobody's gonna mess with you.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he thought because it worked.
Yeah.
And then they're laughing at him for trying to resurrect the blood god because they think he's crazy.
Right.
Even if they know, or I don't know if they actually know what needs to happen for that, but yeah, they're like, you're never going to do this. It's never going to happen. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But he's just really like, yeah, this is how it's going to work.
So Karen is once again, I mean, she's continued to work on her serum to save her. Blade ends up leaving, and Karen and Whistler are left there at the hideout. I would have thought, I definitely thought about this. I would have thought that they would have had some type of way to have sunlight either come in or create something that was like sunlight in case vampires came into their hideout to attack them, which is what happens. I would have thought they would have been prepared. They did not seem like they were prepared to be attacked by vampires.
Now, in the second one, they got alarms and they got traps and everything set up.
Okay. So these vampires ended up coming. They ended up finding the hideout, and they came and they end up kidnapping Karen. Well, before I get to this part, let's talk about Blade. Blade is out, and he sees Frost, and Frost has this little girl, and he's pretty much telling him, "Go ahead." That's a boy.
I thought it was a little girl too.
That was not a boy. Do you know him? All right. Okay, Buzz is saying this is a boy. I thought it was a girl. Joe thought it was a girl. Okay, so listeners, if you watch this scene, you let us know. Was this a boy or is this a girl? It does not look like a boy. Whatever this person is, I'm not about to get canceled. Whatever this person is, Frost ends up throwing this kid. I thought the kid should have died because it crashed through like a phone booth or something like that. It ends up landing on the ground. And a bus is coming at this kid. But the kid should not have even gotten up once she was thrown through the phone booth. Like, that was a hard throw. Like, that was worse than what he did to Karen. Well, what Blade did to Karen, you guys got anything to say about this scene?
It is it is what it is, man. I mean, more movie magic. So little kid flies through the phone booth, slams on the ground, Blade saves the kid, and everything's happy.
Then had to roll into the street because the kid was in the street when they eventually end up getting saved from the bus that was coming to hit them. Now, back at the hideout, Blade is gone. It's Karen and Whistler there. The vampires show up, and they show up. Oh, my bad. That wasn't a phone booth. That was like a hot dog stand or something that the kid went through.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Right. Now vampires show up and they beat up Whistler. They beat him up bad. And they end up kidnapping Karen. Now, Frost is the one that does all the beating on Whistler. But he tells Whistler that he was not going to bite him because Whistler's like, just bite me and get it over with. He doesn't want to do that. Did he have Quinn do the biting? Was he bit?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
We don't, but we don't see it though. We don't see it. He was though.
Right. Yeah. Right.
He was.
You only know it when you watch the second one.
Yeah.
Now, this is my question with that. Since Karen came up with the serum for herself, why wouldn't Blade have given that serum to Whistler? Is because we find out that Whistler also has cancer. Do you think he was just giving up on himself or what?
Well, after Whistler and Blade talk and he figures out what's going on and where Karen is, he basically tells Blade, give me your gun.
Yeah, he wants to kill himself because I assume he thought he was about to be a vampire or he was going to turn into a vampire. But if Karen came up with the serum to stop you from, becoming a full vampire, like, why wouldn't he just say, hold on, let's find the serum that, that Karen created? and give me that shit.
I don't think they felt like they had enough time. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay. So like you said, Blade comes back. He sees the lab is all messed up. He sees that their bodies around, and then he eventually finds Whistler's body, and he's been beaten. He has the bite marks. He asks for Blade's gun. Blade gives it to him, and we hear the gunshot, so we know that Whistler's dead. Blade is now he's really pissed. Frost also left a videotape, and he tells Blade where he wants him to meet him. And Blade goes. Anything? You guys got anything about any of that?
No, we're pretty close to wrapping this one up.
Yeah. So he ends up going to the location. So it's really a trap.
Of course it is.
It's a trap because they want Blade, because they need him to complete this ritual, the ceremony to resurrect the blood god. The blood vampire. Is it blood vampire or blood god?
I thought they just called it a blood god.
Okay. When he goes there, the trap is pretty much that his mom is still alive. And she has been alive, and she is a vampire also, and she has killed. And
Frost is the one that turned her, so
yes.
Does that make Frost his daddy?
No, I mean it might make him a vampire daddy, but we don't. I mean, obviously, it's like she had to fall in love with somebody, or make love with somebody, or have sex with somebody. Somebody's his daddy. I don't think it's Frost. Unless it was, because then he's more. It's not the same then. Like he was never converted. He's like half vampire at that point in time. Like he was born a vampire, But I mean, it was uncomfortable to me watching his mom. So now Lathan is playing his mom. Watching how she was interacting with him, like she was like kind of almost being flirty with him.
It was very odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, too incestual for me.
No, I always have said like that. The shit was disgusting, honestly.
Yeah.
I never.
So he sees his mom. They end up having to talk, and then Frost and his guys come in, and they just pretty much overpower Blade, and they jump him and taser him, and they end up putting him in a box. And in this box, they're able to drain his blood from him. You guys got anything?
Yeah, because they already got the purebreds in the boxes as well. So, like, Blade was the final key. So they're draining all these vampires to resurrect this quote unquote blood god.
Yeah, that all seemed weird. It seemed, I mean, that whole ceremony seemed weird to me, the way they did it. Because it seemed like they had blood coming in from all of these different areas, and they were on the ceiling. It looked like the blood should have just, to me, it all should have just filled. It shouldn't have just been going in a line to this one particular point, and then it ends up dropping down on Frost. So he was basically turning himself into the blood god, because it didn't.
I guess like that was the idea.
Yeah, because
his lackeys were acting like they were all going to get more powerful, but then, of course, he took it all for himself.
Right. Now, Karen ends up rescuing him, and she ends up rescuing Blade, and Blade is weak, and she tells him to take some of her blood. That was a gamble to me, because he got the blood from her, and he looked like he was enjoying it. He looked like he was about to turn.
It looked like he was going to drain her.
Yeah, it did. And he ends up getting his full strength. Now, so, I mean, that's like what I was saying earlier, Angel. Like, he ends up getting power from this blood.
I don't know. I just feel like when you said power, I thought of like a Power Ranger, like a supercharger. I guess it's like he got his strength back. Like, yeah, I guess.
And then he ends up going out, and he ends up fighting with the vampires, and he ends up fighting and he ends up finally killing Quinn. I guess he killed Quinn, unless Quinn pops up in any other movie. And then he ends up fighting Frost.
Wait, hold on. Do we remember how he killed Quinn? Because every time I don't remember it right now, but every time I watch the movie, I'm always like, you never thought about doing that shit before? Like it was something so simple. I don't know if he
cut his head off. I thought he just cut his head off with the sword.
Yeah, I don't know if he like cut him like up, like split him in half.
It was weird. Whatever it was done.
Like it was something that like when I saw it, I was like, you could have just did that in the first place. I can't.
The focus on this point was Frost, so that's all they cared about, I guess.
Yeah.
The CGI in this part of the movie, you could tell like CGI wasn't all of that at this point in time because it looked a little weak. It looked very weak, especially when he cut Frost in half and his body is going one way, and then like we see the blood in the middle, and then it just kind of comes back together like Silly Putty or something. it looked pretty stupid. But he has all of the serum. I'm kind of skipping ahead here because really, I mean, the fight scene was pretty cool, but it's nothing we really needed to go into detail about.
No. The one thing we just gotta know is that Blade Frost got faster, stronger, so he was giving Blade trouble. So then Blade went to like being tricky, and as we said earlier with his sword, he threw his serum. He threw the new. I don't know, like I don't want to say serum, but like the new explosives that Karen made, he threw them up in the rocks, and he did it on purpose. The next move, he ran and threw his sword into that same spot, but he had it where the timer was going to click. And once the timer clicked, it exploded the cement, and he was able to catch the serum behind his back, which was smooth as silk. And after he did that, he threw, I think, like 10 vials into Frost. And then he did a tornado kick on the last one and kicked it right into his forehead. And then after that, Frost exploded. And then he had the best line of the whole entire movie. Do you remember what it was?
No, I don't.
He says, "Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill."
Oh, yeah.
In all seriousness, though, like not even joking, my dad will look at me and be like, "Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill," and I'm like, "Who?" that line was forever gold. But yeah, and then that's how it ended.
Well, there's a couple more. We find out that Blade and Karen are going to continue to work together at the end of that's what they said at the end of this movie. And then we see Blade end up going to Moscow, and he fights one more vampire over in Moscow.
That was dope.
And then that's it. That's the end of the movie. Not bad. I mean, it was okay. Like, what would you guys give it, grade wise?
I love watching it, but I'm still gonna give it like a B+.
Okay,
exactly where I'm at. B+.
I just give it just a regular B. It wasn't bad. I liked it better this time than the first time I saw it.
You like it because you were older? Like you like appreciate?
No. The first time I saw it was last year in COVID when it wasn't nothing to do. I just had to sit in the house. I was like, well, let me watch Blade. I never saw that before. And after watching Blade, after you did watch Marvel movies for a long time, like this was kind of a letdown when it's your first time seeing it. So I just didn't really get into the CGI and some of the stuff, some of the acting. I really just wasn't feeling it. But this time when I saw it, I knew what to expect, so I enjoyed it better, and I was watching it a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would give it a B.
That's that's a fair assessment. I agree with that. I still never look at it as like a Marvel movie. I still always just look at it as just like, I don't know. It's like he's like his own character. But you know what I just thought about as we were talking about it. I wonder how come they didn't cast Michael Jai White. I feel like he would have been a good Blade.
Probably so. I mean,
like the hair and the build, like he had everything for it at that time.
But at the same time, like either he probably was working on Spawn or probably just ended Spawn. You know, so maybe it could have been a conflict. Maybe I mean, at that time also Wesley Snipes was a bigger name than Michael Jai White. Also,
yeah. No, but like I feel like I don't know. I feel like they could have saved money. That's why I say that.
I don't think this is gonna be the last time we've seen this version of Blade either. I saw some rumors that they might try and connect him to the MCU.
Well,
so I heard the same thing.
What this
he
Blade?
Could use the money.
This Blade, like Wesley Snipes Blade.
Yeah, they've talked. I've heard all kinds of stuff.
So I know they're doing the new Blade movie with Mahershala Ali, but right now Marvel is all mixed up with their little multiverse thing they got going on. Like things are changing, so you never know. Like this Blade might show up somewhere else. This version of Blade, so it'll be interesting to see if they did that.
The one thing I did see online was that everyone tried to say they should have did a Blade and Underworld crossover. I thought that would have been dope.
Okay.
That would have been really dope.
I did see that back in the day. Okay.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys got any closing remarks?
No, I'm good, man.
Okay. All right, everybody. That's it. Next week we're watching Blade 2. We're gonna Joe, are you gonna dress up for Halloween too?
I got a little something.
Bugs, you dressing up?
How about you, Gene?
I don't know, man. As of right now, no. A few years ago, when Champ was little, like when he was like around 2 or something, I dressed up like Cat in the Hat. I got pictures. I don't know.
I think I've seen those pictures.
I don't know if I'm gonna do something like that or not. I don't know, man. I don't know. If I dress up, it'd be a last minute thing. I don't know. Just to make Champ laugh. I don't know. But y'all stay safe, stay strong. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll be back with Blade 2. Peace.